Once upon a time, in a land where clouds were made of candy and rivers flowed with chocolate, there lived a curious little girl named Sophie. One day, Sophie stumbled upon a shimmering path made of golden bricks. What could this be? She wondered aloud, her eyes sparkling with excitement. Little did she know, this path would lead her to the enchanting world of philosophy. As she walked, she met a talking rabbit named Professor Flopsy. "Welcome, dear traveler. You've entered the realm of big questions," he said with a twinkle in his eye. "Have you ever wondered why the sky is blue or what makes a good sandwich?" Sophie giggled. "Of course. But what's philosophy?" The professor adjusted his tiny glasses. "Ah, philosophy is like a treasure chest full of questions. Imagine it as a giant game of why. You know how when you ask, why is grass green, and your mom says, because it is? Well, philosophy keeps asking why until you find a shiny gem of truth." Sophie loved gems. "So it's like a scavenger hunt for answers?" "Exactly," the professor exclaimed, hopping excitedly. "Let's explore." They trotted down the path and soon found themselves in a magical garden filled with flowers that whispered secrets. One flower said, "I was once a seed, and now I'm beautiful." Sophie gasped. "That's like asking what makes me, me." Professor Flopsy nodded. "Yes, that's a big question in philosophy. It's called identity. It's like asking if you're still the same person if you change your favorite ice cream flavor." They arrived at a pond where fish were having a debate. One fish said, "I think we should swim left." The other fish argued, "No, right is better." Sophie chuckled. "They sound like my friends arguing over pizza toppings." The professor laughed. "Exactly. This is a great example of ethics. It's about what's right or wrong, just like deciding if pineapple belongs on pizza." Sophie pondered. "So ethics is like a pizza menu?" "You got it," he replied. "But remember, everyone has different tastes." Next, they wandered into a library made of giant books. Each book was alive and told its own story. One book shouted, "I'm a mystery." Sophie giggled. "What's a mystery?" The professor said, "That's epistemology. It's about knowing things. It's like when you're trying to figure out if a rumor is true or just a silly story. Like if I heard a rumor that unicorns love glitter," Sophie asked, eyes wide. "Exactly. You'd want to find out if that's true or just a sparkly tale." As they continued, they reached a cliff that overlooked a vast ocean. The waves crashed, and Sophie exclaimed, "Wow, what if the ocean was filled with jelly beans?" Professor Flopsy smiled. "That's a great thought. Here's where we meet metaphysics. It's all about what exists. Like, do jelly beans really float? And what's the meaning of life?" "So it's like asking if our dreams are real or just silly nighttime adventures," Sophie ventured. "Exactly. And sometimes dreams can lead to the best discoveries." Suddenly, a friendly giant named Big Joe appeared. "Hello, I'm pondering the universe. Want to join?" Sophie laughed. "What do you mean?" Big Joe said, "I wonder if everything is connected, like how a butterfly flapping its wings can cause a storm far away. That's called causality." Sophie thought hard. "So if I eat a cookie, does that mean I'm making the world sweeter?" "Yes, every action has a reaction, just like you sharing cookies with friends can make them smile." Feeling inspired, Sophie asked, "What's the biggest question of all?" Professor Flopsy looked wise. "The biggest question is, why are we here? It's like a treasure map leading to understanding our purpose." "So, it's like searching for where the rainbow ends?" "Exactly. And everyone's map is different. Some might find their treasure in exploring, while others find it in helping others." Just then, they reached a gigantic tree that looked like it was made of rainbows. Sophie gasped, "What's this?" Professor Flopsy smiled. "This is the tree of wisdom. It grows from all the questions we ask and the answers we find. The more we explore philosophy, the bigger the tree grows." Sophie looked up, imagining all the questions that could sprout from the tree. "Can we plant more seeds?" "Absolutely. Every time you ask why or what if, you plant a new seed." Feeling excited, Sophie shouted, "I want to plant 1,000,000 seeds." As they continued their adventure, they met creatures like a wise old tortoise who told stories and a playful fox who loved riddles. Each encounter was a new question, a new piece of the philosophical puzzle. Sophie sat beneath the tree of wisdom and listened intently as the tortoise shared tales of ancient philosophers. "Did you know that Socrates believed in questioning everything? He thought that the unexamined life wasn't worth living." Sophie nodded thoughtfully. "So, asking questions is really important?" The tortoise smiled. Yes, dear Sophie. Questions help us learn and grow. They are the key to understanding ourselves and the world around us. Next, the playful fox approached with a riddle. What has roots as nobody sees, is taller than trees. Up, up it goes, and yet never grows. Sophie thought hard. Is it a mountain? The fox clapped his paws. Bravo, you got it. Just like in philosophy, sometimes the answers are hidden, and we must think deeply to find them. Sophie felt a rush of joy. Every riddle, every story, every question was like a spark lighting up her mind. What other big questions are out there? She asked. Professor Flopsy replied, Oh, there are countless questions. Why do we dream? What is love? What does it mean to be happy? Each question opens up new paths for exploration. Feeling adventurous, Sophie suggested, Let's ask the stars. They must know the answers to our biggest questions. Professor Flopsy chuckled. That's the spirit. The stars are like the wise elders of the universe. They've been around for ages, and they've seen so much. As night fell, they lay on the grass, gazing up at the twinkling stars. Look, that one looks like a big question mark, Sophie pointed. Yes, questions are everywhere, even in the sky, the professor said. And as long as you keep asking, you'll always find new wonders. Philosophy is a journey without an end. Sophie smiled brightly, her heart full of wonder. And the more treasures you'll find. With a heart full of wonder and a head buzzing with questions, Sophie knew she would carry this magical journey with her forever. The world was filled with mysteries, just waiting to be uncovered, and she couldn't wait to ask her next big question. As she walked back home, she looked up at the stars twinkling like gems in the sky. Why do they shine? She whispered, already dreaming of her next adventure in the world of philosophy. The next day, Sophie decided to share her newfound love for questions with her friends. She gathered them in the meadow and said, Let's play a game. We'll ask each other big questions. Her friends were intrigued. What kind of questions, one asked. Questions about anything, like what makes a hero or why do we laugh? Sophie replied, her eyes shining with excitement. They all sat in a circle, and the first question was posed, What is the most important quality in a friend? Sophie thought about it. I think it's kindness. A good friend should always be there to help you. Another friend said, I think it's honesty. Friends should tell the truth, even if it's hard. As they took turns sharing their thoughts, they realized how each answer led to more questions. Why is honesty important? What if being honest hurts someone's feelings? Sophie clapped her hands in delight. See, we're philosophers already. The game continued, filled with laughter and thoughtful discussions. They explored questions about dreams, aspirations, and even the meaning of their favorite stories. Each question was like a door opening to a new room filled with wonders. As the sun began to set again, casting golden rays over the meadow, Sophie felt grateful for her adventure. Philosophy is everywhere, she exclaimed. We just need to look for it. Her friends nodded in agreement. Their minds zing with new ideas and questions. They all felt a sense of magic in the air, knowing that they could carry this curiosity with them wherever they went. That night, as Sophie lay in bed, she couldn't stop thinking about all the questions they had explored. She took out her journal and began writing down her thoughts. Today, I learned that asking questions is just as important as finding answers, she wrote. Before drifting off to sleep, she whispered to herself, I can't wait for tomorrow. More questions, more adventures. And with that, she closed her eyes, dreaming of the stars, the magical garden, and the endless mysteries of philosophy waiting just for her.